Hey everyone, it's great to see you again. I'm really excited to bring you a quick review of the Dehancer video editor plugin. Everything you just watched in that intro was just footage I thought would be fun to shoot of me recording the process of making a fun little Western song. I hope you enjoyed that, and everything you just saw was graded with the Dehancer plugin in Final Cut Pro. Throughout this video, I'm going to be throwing up some images that I either shot on my iPhone or digital camera and edited in the mobile app as well. To be completely honest, they did send this product to me, but I have no bias. They asked for an honest review, and that's what I intend to do. So let's jump into the computer, and I'll show you what I did to get the look in the intro. So jumping into this panel here, first of all, how you are going to apply it is just as an effect. So if you come over to your effects window, you search Dehancer down here, and then you drag this and drop it onto the clip or an adjustment layer or something like that. So a quick rundown of my setup here. I have my log conversion on an adjustment layer, and then I have my color corrections here, and then I have Dehancer on top of it all. So quick run through of my settings in this plugin and how I have it set up. Full disclaimer, I have not had a ton of time to use this plugin, and a lot of these terms, I don't know what they mean because I'm not familiar with the language surrounding developing film. So there are things like push-pull here. I don't exactly know what that means. I think it's related to the exposure. In the intro, I used the Profile Fujicolor Pro 400H. I think it looks really good. And I basically just tweaked it from there. So you can use this to convert your footage to Rec 709 for you up here. If you do source, camera vendor, camera format, you can go through that. I prefer to just do it all on adjustment layers. So that's just a personal preference thing. So I usually start with this up here. You adjust your push-pull, and you can just kind of see it's affecting the highlights and the shadows a little bit. Like I said, I'm not an expert on this plugin. I haven't used it a ton, so I'm kind of figuring this out a little bit still. I'll be honest, I don't use every panel here because I don't know what everything individually does. I think with time, I'll start to use more of the panels. So for this specific look, I did the film up here with the profile. You push-pull it to your liking. And then I came down past all of these to expand. I have this enabled here. You can see I just adjusted my black point a little bit and my white point to get the exposure that I liked. And then I skipped over the print section and the color head. This would be to adjust your colors in the frame. So you can kind of dial it in if you want to get a little warmer, a little more magenta in there. I'm going to turn it off for now because I did all of that in my color correction. And then come down to film grain. This is one of the best areas for me. One of the unique things about this program is the fact that they have algorithms in this plugin that determines how each profile will affect different clips. So if there's a shot that is a little bit blown out in the highlights, it will affect it the way blown out highlights would look in film. So every clip, this is actually applying slightly differently depending on the highlights and shadows and the overall exposure, which I think is super cool, and that's what really sets this program apart from other ones. So in the grain section, I brought the size down a lot just because I think initially it's way up here around like basically max, and it just looks a little too chunky for me. So I bring that down pretty small. The amount I also bring down quite a bit. I think it starts around 50 automatically, and that's just really, really heavy for me. So I brought that down to around 20. So after the grain section, I come down to halation. This area is really incremental for me in getting a film look. You cannot see it a lot in this specific clip because there's not a lot of shiny or highlighted things. But if I turn this off, you can see that little red glow on my watch there that goes away. This is a characteristic of old lenses because they had worse lens coatings on them and they got more glare and stuff like that. I think it looks super cool. So these are my settings for that. I just kind of tweaked that a little bit. I have it cranked all the way up on impact because there's not that much that it's affecting in this frame. And then after that, I come down to bloom. This is another area that's super important to me because if I turn this off, look how much more digital and clinical that looks like on my shirt. And then I turn it back on. Everything's really soft and diffused and it looks nice. And then after that, I have vignette, film breadth, and gate weave, monitor, output, LUT generator, stuff like that. This is where my main gripes are with this software. I don't like that there are a lot of terms like film breadth and gate weave that I don't know what that means, and I don't think it's a very common knowledge term. So I would love to see this simplified a little bit so it just had a title that you knew exactly what it did when you read what the title was. The other thing is that it just does take quite a bit of tweaking to get the actual look you want. Maybe you'll love that. Maybe you'll hate that. I adjusted most of these settings to get to this final look, and I find that everything's way too intense off the bat. So if you're looking for something that's completely drag and drop, this may not be for you. But if you're willing to tweak a few settings, I think the software is awesome. And yeah, that's how I got the final look on this video. Thank you again for watching this video. If you would like to get the Dehancer plugin for yourself, you can use the code IsaacPainter at checkout, and that'll give you 10% off of your initial purchase. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.